Outer Rep Level 25.
Lesson 9. A very important lesson. Definition 1. An adjective plus 2 to 4 verbs. Example. My Uncle Mark's kind. He usually helps me. He's been helping me since my father passed away, and he's still helping me now. However, he's gone to France. He left Vietnam last week. He'll come back next month. I miss him a lot. How about you? Do you have an uncle? Definition 2. A statement plus answers to self-asked questions. Example. Are you a student? Yes, I'm a student. I'm studying English at the Outer Space Language School. I've been studying English here for 3 months, and I'll study for 9 more months to get my CPE. I can speak English to my boss now. I'm also going to the Open University in the morning. I'm taking business administration and marketing. I'll graduate next year. Well, how about you? Are you a student? Definition 3. A statement plus 8 groups of conjunctions. Example. He's a student even though he doesn't go to school. He can learn by himself because he's very intelligent. He's learning French now, and he'll learn Spanish next year. He always practices speaking French with his friends whenever they have free time. Although he's fairly busy, he often does homework. He tells me he tries to learn French and Spanish so that he may go overseas to study. Definition 4. A statement plus some of the 17 tenses. Example. I'm a student. I'm studying marketing at the Open University in Ho Chi Minh City. I'll get my BA in Business Administration next year. Besides, I've been learning Japanese for 3 months. When I was living in Kamau, I met a Japanese engineer. He was very nice. He told me that he'd come back to Vietnam to set up a company. He said he'd hire me to work for his company. He's going back to Japan, but he'll return here in December next year. By the time he comes back, I'll have been able to speak Japanese. Definition 5. A statement plus modals. Example. My brother Tom's an engineer. He can do a lot of things. He can fix computers. He can design the interior of my house. He's able to play the guitar, but he can't do many things. He can't cook well. He can't speak French, and he can't dance. He's allowed by my parents to do several things. He may go home late. He could stay up late until midnight. And he's allowed to take his friends home whenever he wants. However, he's not allowed to smoke in the living room. Part 2. Pure dialogue. Identify the definitions. Have you ever loved anybody in your life? Yes, I have loved somebody once. What was she like? Well, she was young. She was 22 years old, and she went to the University of Architecture. She was very sweet. She talked sweetly. She always cared for my studies and my health. And she didn't like violence. Besides, she was very intelligent. She understood my jokes easily. She once made her friends surprised because she could even fix computers. I see. That's interesting. And what's she doing now? Well, she's working for an English school now. It's the Outer Space Language School. She's a secretary there. She works very hard, therefore they pay her very well. She likes to work there because she's able to practice her English. Wonderful. You must have loved her very much. Is that right? Of course. I loved her more than I could say. In spite of the fact that she's not very beautiful, she's very kind to me. Whenever I was sad, she stood by me to give me support. Sorry for interrupting, but I didn't catch that. All right. As I've said, whenever I was sad, she was present to make me happy. Even if I wasn't rich, she considered me as a good friend. She treated me as if I were her best friend. She was so sweet that she even helped my sister learn English. I see. Isn't that wonderful? According to you, did she love you much? Absolutely. I remember the first day I met her. It was raining, and I had to stop my motorcycle to look for shelter. I found a small overhang of a tailor's shop, and I went in there. She'd been there before me. She thoughtfully stepped aside so we could both fit in the small shelter. When I said thank you, she just smiled. This was the most beautiful smile that I'd ever seen. While we were waiting there, I talked to her as she listened to me carefully. As soon as it stopped raining, I followed her to her university. She gave me her phone number after I'd asked her 5 times for it. I was very happy, and I told her that I'd call her the next day. By the way, are you still dating her? Oh, no. We broke up last month. I was very sad. It was my fault. I made her angry when I told her that she was stupid because she couldn't speak Chinese, even though her mother was Chinese. All right. Tell me about what she can and can't do. Well, she can do a lot of things. She can sing, she can play the guitar, and she can speak 3 languages. However, she can't cook meals, and she can't ride a motorcycle. I see. And what's she allowed to do by her parents? She may go to the movies, but she may not stay out past 10 p.m. She must go home before 10 p.m. What advice should I give her when I talk to her? Well, she should eat more food because she's thin. And she ought to consider me seriously. She'd better come back to me now because I haven't gone out with other girls yet. I understand. Sounds to me like you're saying that you still love her very much. Am I right? Yes, you're right. Can you do anything to help me? I'm sure I can. But you have to be patient. I'll be very patient, I promise. Part 5. Review idiomatic expressions. Idioms. Examples. 10. To fly off the handle. I know you were right to be angry, but there was no excuse for flying off the handle like that. 11. From the bottom of one's heart. With all one's heart. I feel so badly for hurting you, and from the bottom of my heart, I beg for your forgiveness. 12. From time to time. My trips to Saigon are infrequent, so I only get to see my mother from time to time. 13. Generation gap. The impact of TV and video on children has increased the generation gap between them and their parents. 14. To get down to business. Get down to work. At halftime, the coach reminded the team that they were trailing by 3 goals and said it was time to get down to business. 15. To get stuck. Mary is so unhappy and feels stuck in her job.